Hey y'all, it's good to be back. I'm Hazzie Soft. As always, to my left is the amazing Nord, aka Nordic Monkey. Say hello to the stream, Nord.
Hello to the stream, Nord.
And today is stream number 388. So I have some cool things that I want us to talk about for today's segment of Geeky Talk. So I think the first thing we're gonna talk about is some PTR stuff pertaining to New World, because I actually brought that up yesterday and I just kind of forgot about it. So we didn't really end up talking about it because there's some interesting stuff that's happening in the public test realm stuff. We didn't really talk about that. We talked about some things that we don't know when they're going to release, like how they're supposed to be making the weapon stuff or combat more fluid, I guess. Like when you change out your weapon, it's going to be a little bit more fluid rather than I thought I changed out my ice gauntlet to my fire staff, and you realize you didn't. They're supposed to be working that so that kind of stuff doesn't happen because I feel like you have to tap the button twice in order to change it. I don't know.
So I have damage and healing. I have very, very different things based off of what I'm doing. And obviously you have auto attacks.
Yeah.
But when I'm trying to drop a big circle of blizzarding stuff on top of these creatures, and instead I have nothing.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's a problem. Okay, so that'll be the first thing that we talk about. And then I don't know, today is I didn't really see anything of interest. Today feels like a really
slow news day.
Yeah, it feels like a slow news day of anything happening. So I kind of thought what we would talk about is the Revenant in
D&D lore.
Yeah, specifically Forgotten Realms, and also about when we came upon Revenant in Heart of Winter.
In our current game.
In our last game, I didn't know what Revenant was. I'd never heard of Revenant. Well, I probably have, but I don't remember it. So it was just interesting because of we'll go over it here later. But yeah, that's all I've got. Was there something that you wanted
do you remember the movie The Revenant?
Yes, I did not like it.
I wonder if maybe they were referencing that because he basically he got very close to being killed, and then he came back with a vengeance to kill that other person.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about that. Well, what is the word revenant? Let me look it up. Define revenant. But see what the Googles tells us. So revenant means a person who has returned, especially supposedly from the dead.
Okay.
So yeah, the Revenant, that movie,
the
Revenant.
Movie actually, who knew that was a D&D movie?
I mean, it wasn't.
I thought it was just
movie,
about a horrible grizzly bear attack.
It wasn't a D&D movie. That's literally
Confirmed
the definition
D&D
of Revenant.
Movie. Confirmed D&D movie.
That's literally. I didn't know Revenant. D&D movie. Honestly, I didn't know Revenant was an actual word. I thought it was just something they called the undead. And so I've learned something that Revenant actually is a word. It's in the Oxford Dictionary, I guess. I'm going to look down here. It's in Merriam-Webster dictionary. Let me check.
It's a word.
For much of 2016, Revenant was among our top lookup doubtless because it was prominently featured in the title of a movie, The Revenant, released in 2015. Outside of contemporary cinema, Revenant is encountered rarely and appears D&D, and it's encountered in D&D, and it appears likely that many users who were unfamiliar with the word wished to learn more about its meaning and perhaps where it came from, denoting one that returns after death or a long absence. Revenant is a borrowing from French that was originally formed from the present participle of the verb revenir, to return. So revenir, I'm sure I'm butchering, is French meaning to return. It literally means one coming back, either from another place or.
Okay.
So that's really.
We learned a thing. I like learning.
Yeah, I one that returns after death or a long absence. That's, yeah. So we learned a word today. That's funny. I thought it was just now. I just learned it because I honestly
join
thought
us
it was
for
just...
more Sesame Street times.
Well, I don't know how many people actually know that, but they probably did because of the movie. I bet there were smarter people than me that thought, I'm gonna look this up. I just assumed it was just like made up,
I bet you
or it
Zorn
had something
knew.
to do with, like reverie. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So I thought it was made up, and I thought it was made up specifically by D&D people
Brandon!
for the Undead.
Happy
Hey,
Friday,
Brandon!
Hazzie and Nord.
How are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you
How's
too,
your day
Brandon.
going? I hope you're having a good day. It's good to see you. Yeah, so I just learned a new thing, the word Revenant. It's not just like something for Undead, but that makes sense because Nord had asked about the movie The Revenant and what that means. So that means, yeah, coming back from the dead or returning after a really long absence.
So it's confirmed that
and I guess one of the words revere, it comes from the French word revere means to return or come back from in French. I don't remember all the other stuff.
Anyways, Leonardo DiCaprio is now confirmed as Undead.
What? Okay. Did you like that movie, The Revenant? I did not like it.
That was a little gruesome.
Yeah, that was too gruesome for me. There wasn't much for dialogue. It was just not my thing. We had friends at the time that really loved it, really into it. I hated it. It was really pretty and stuff, but it was too much for me.
It was a purely visceral experience, not much of a plot-driven experience. And
I mean, there was a plot. It was all about Leonardo DiCaprio being, like, if I remember correctly, effed over, and he comes back and takes care of business.
Yes, but what I'm saying is it wasn't plot-driven.
Oh, yeah. It's mostly about, like,
how there's character-driven and then plot-driven.
And there's action-driven, too, or whatever. It's all action. The story's told with all action. Anyways, yeah. What?
There's character-driven, and then there's plot-driven. This was a character-driven piece.
I guess.
It was about the character development. It wasn't about the world changing or anything like this. It was just about the people.
I didn't even feel like we learned much about... I didn't feel like we learned much about the freaking characters even.
You knew their motives. You didn't necessarily learn about them. Tom Hardy did a good job in it.
Yeah.
That's another one because we talked
I like
while
Tom
we were
Hardy.
driving.
I think he's good at everything.
While we were on the road a little while ago, we were talking about how Tom Hardy does a fantastic.
Yeah, I love Tom Hardy. I think he's good in everything he does. I haven't seen Venom 2 with Tom Hardy yet, but a lot of people didn't like it. But I don't care. I probably will like it, especially when I read some plot of it and I was like, that sounds wild. I think I'll probably like it. Hey, yes, tis adventuring time. Today we are going to be doing some more Icewind Dale.
Come on and grab your friends. We're going to
take on the Heartbeat Queen today. That's what we're doing today.
I don't remember the Adventure Time song. Wow.
Oh. I don't remember it either.
It's probably too early for me.
But you remember. So this morning, he remembered like stuff that like thought I was giving him information, and he's like, I remember it because I'm still in that sleeping, dreaming state where you know everything. And I was just
right when I wake up, I have connections to my memories because I'm just coming out of dreaming.
Yeah.
However, if I've been up for like 15 minutes and stuff, it's gone.
Have you all seen The Revenant? Did you like it, or was that a movie that you didn't like? If you didn't see it, I feel
let's go back to the past, but not too far back.
If you didn't see it, I don't blame you. I don't think it was that great. Like, it was pretty, I guess, but it was too long, too gruesome for me. It just wasn't my thing.
Not a DiCaprio fan.
Not a DiCaprio fan?
I was very strongly like that for a long time. Until
I don't care.
Until Gangs of New York.
An opinion on DiCaprio.
Gangs of New York is the one that changed my mind.
Gangs of New York is really good, actually. I really enjoyed Gangs. You wanted me to see it for years and years and years, And I don't know why I was like not wanting to watch it. I think it's because I was scared of it being like too long and too like gruesome too. So that's funny because when I think about it, like, oh wow, he was in like 2 movies that were kind of gruesome because that called is it Gangs? The one movie you're just talking about,
Gangs of New York.
Yeah, Gangs of New York. I can't remember what is. I'm just like Gang Streets. What? I don't remember. But freaking, yeah, I it was kind of gruesome. That one, if I remember correctly, it wasn't.
There were parts that were.
You want me to be honest though? We had just watched Game of Thrones, when I saw it, and so it didn't come off as gruesome because I had seen so many worse things. Yeah, like it was not a big deal. I was just like, this. It would have affected me if I hadn't seen Game of Thrones. I would have been like,
you like go to watch like Battlefield Surgery, and you're like, I just got back from Game of Thrones. This is fine.
Yeah. I had a cousin that swooned over him back in the days, and she wouldn't shut up. Oh, okay.
that would definitely poison it. Yeah, that would make it a lot more difficult to enjoy. I don't really have an
opinion on Leonardo DiCaprio one way or the other, so I don't know. But I do think it's funny. There were like 2 movies that I kind of like. I wasn't really like raw over because of the gruesomeness. But Gangs of New York was really good. I didn't like The Revenant, not because I don't think they did a bad job. It's just that was too much for me, and there wasn't any dialogue, and I don't know what it is. I think I get bored when there's not any dialogue. I just do. I'm a person who watches like British drama. Sometimes all they do is like dialogue. I mean, and some of it you're like, I don't even really know what happened there, but we had some dialogue. You know what I mean? And then you figure out what like later why the dialogue that happened.
All the layered subtext.
Yeah, I like that. But when they do, it's all action, and it's I don't know.
J dramas are the same.
Yeah, J dramas are kind of like that too. Also, I have mixed feelings on like sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't on like Mad Max Fury Road because it was not dialogue heavy at all. It was very action driven.
I got bored.
And yeah, you were saying how you got like this action fatigue from it because it was just like constant action all the time. And I understood that because I kind of felt that. But at the same time, I appreciated it too. I was like, I like it, but sometimes I kind of don't like it. Like, I think for that kind of movie, I have to be in the right mood and mindset. Like, and I have to know that it's coming in order to enjoy it. Otherwise, I will not enjoy it. So I don't know. I just have very mixed feelings about those kinds of movies for some reason. I don't know.
I know it's pretty weird to say, yes, I got bored during Mad Max Fury Road, but it's just like it kept trying to hit that high note, that peak excitement level, and it kept trying to hit it again and again and again. And eventually, that just took me out of the film.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, what else is happening around me? Like,
well, it's kind of desensitizes you.
Exactly.
Because it's like once the action it keeps happening, it's just like, it's like, yeah, I understood because I kind of felt that a little bit. So I know what you're talking about.
And so like eventually I was just like thinking about other things rather than the movie itself. And that happened repeatedly. I watched it a number of times and I can't really get into it because of that.
We watched another movie last night.
Fantastic
We've been watching
acting.
Movies. Well, I shouldn't say I've been watching movies. I've been trying to watch movies and falling asleep while watching a movie.
That's true.
But Nord and the kid watched another movie. What was it? The Sum of Fears or something?
Sum of All Fears.
Sum of All Fears. And it had Ben Affleck in it. And that's all I remember because I went to bed. I went to sleep.
It was during that horrible time period that led all the way through Batfleck when they had Batman played by Ben Affleck. But where they kept trying to make him an action hero. And it's just like, no, quit it. Just quit it.
He's okay, though, in other movies, I think.
Oh, yeah.
We watched something with him, and you were actually saying, like, you know what? I should take my... Because Nord did not like Ben Affleck whatsoever.
I am very much not a Ben Affleck
fan. But we saw something, you were like, you know what? I take back some of what I've said bad about him because he did well in something that we had seen, and you weren't expecting that. That's what I remember. I don't even remember what it was that we saw.
He can pull off some roles.
Yeah, he can pull off some roles.
But action hero is not one of them at all. And they kept trying to cast him as an action hero. When they had him doing...
Why do they keep doing that? He doesn't look like an action hero. I don't know why they kept doing it.
Because he fits the leading man role.
Oh.
And
I don't know. Daredevil. Daredevil.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Thor nailed it. Daredevil was absolute crap. I mean,
this is like the movie. Like, I don't remember. I didn't watch it. So was that Daredevil the movie, not the series? Okay.
The series
I was like, the series was pretty good. I didn't see all of it, but it was pretty good what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah.
And then they had the Capital One lady, because that's what she's known for now.
Yeah.
Is doing the Capital One commercials.
Mm-hmm.
But they had her playing the lady with the sights and whatever, and
I can't remember.
Elektra. They had her playing Elektra.
Okay.
And it was bad.
I still don't remember.
It was bad. Yes, Thor knows it. It's Elektra and Capital One lady. I don't remember.
Capital One lady? Let me see. Look that up. Capital.
Thorne's gonna tell it in like 3 seconds. Just watch.
Is this top one? Is this gonna be like, I have a commercial to get to the commercial?
Yeah. Hi, I'm trying to get to a commercial. You gotta go through a commercial first.
This is not Capital.
That looks pretty old.
Capital One commercial. I wish I knew the person's name.
There.
This top one?
Yeah, that's her.
Oh, I didn't know she did these.
You didn't know she did these? This is all she does anymore.
You're right. I only get extra miles on some types of purchases.
May I?
Please.
With the Capital One venture
I
card,
remember
you earn
her. Wasn't
unlimited
she
double
in like
miles
this
every
drama
month.
from back in the day?
Dude, she was in a whole bunch of stuff, and now she's just the Capital
like
One lady.
5 something. My sister was really into it. And it was like this drama soap opera type that I can't remember. I want to say it was like on Fox or so. I don't remember. And I think Jennifer Love Hewitt was on it. Maybe, I don't know. My brain, the 5 of us. I don't know what it was called.
No idea.
It looks like Capital One.
Jennifer, Jennifer Garner. Jennifer Garner.
Okay, yeah, that's her.
What's that show?
Thorne, I'm laughing too hard.
Jennifer Garner.
You should probably go to her IMDb and then look back in the 90s or whatever, if that's what you're focused on. Anyways, yeah,
I'm just curious.
She's now the Capital One lady. She wasn't she like married to Ben Affleck, and then he like cheated on her with a maid or something, so, and then her career changed. And now she's Capital One lady. But yeah, she used to be in a lot of stuff.
I feel like maybe that wasn't her. Maybe Jennifer Garner wasn't on what I'm...
Probably not. You confuse people all the time.
I do.
You're like, all these white people look alike. You'll nail it with Asians. But you're like, all these white people, they look alike to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I really felt like she was on the...
As Thorne's bringing up, she was in Alias.
Maybe I'm thinking Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Those are 2 different people.
Yeah, that's what I might be thinking.
And they
of Jennifer
don't
Love
really look
Hewitt.
that similar either.
I'm not saying they do. But for some reason, her face, it looks like somebody that would have been on the show that I'm thinking of.
How did we end up going down this rabbit hole? Where did this begin?
I don't know. We're going down this rabbit hole. I don't know what to freaking tell you. I want to know. You brought it up. Or maybe I said Ben Affleck. Oh. And then it all went downhill from there.
Yeah, we were talking about how Ben Affleck was...
Okay, that's where it goes.
Thanks, Ben Affleck. You ruin everything.
For some reason, I always think, Jennifer Love Hewitt and her, for some reason, look kind of similar to me. And also, there's another lady that was on, so there was this dog named Happy. Party of Five. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Party of 5. But there's this other lady who looks similar to me, and I don't know if her name's Jennifer, but it probably is. And she, what was it?
Every girl in the 90s was named Jennifer.
There was my sister's name, your sister's name. There was this dog named Happy, and it was kind of a religious show, if I remember it right. But it was like, and it came on like maybe before, not before like Party 5
Touched
started,
by an angel.
Not touched by an angel. God damn it! No.
I'm throwing her off.
Seventh heaven. That's what it is.
I was like, I'm throwing her off so much right now.
Yeah, Party of 5. This is the way my brain's like, we got connection, but yeah.
Party of 7th Heaven.
Party of 7th Heaven. Shut up! Shut up! Why you do this?
Touched by a Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel. Wait, no. Wait, was it Jessica Biel? All those women look this very similar to me. I don't know why. Jessica Biel, Jennifer Garner, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and then there's this one. Yeah, the lady from Party of 5, and then there's 7th Heaven. The 7th Heaven lady. She plays basketball. I remember all this time too because it also came on during a time while like Buffy the Vampire Slayer was coming on, and all these shows would come on the same channel, and my sister was obsessed with all of them. And also,
I didn't watch any of these.
Like Gilmore Girls came later, but like I remember her watching Gilmore Girls, and then also Dawson's Creek and all this. I wasn't into this. I just know about it
sister was
because my
so
sister
into
was
it.
so into this kind of stuff. I don't know why, but yeah,
I remember I'd come over and she'd be like, I need to buy this clothing because they were wearing it on the show, and I'd be like,
let me open this up. Let's open
oh yeah, that made it bigger.
Yeah, it didn't. But
don't you love it when you do it?
Yeah, the girl in that 7th Heaven, and she plays basketball and whatever, and they had a dog named Happy. Like all those actresses look similar. They don't look the same, but I feel like I could replace them all out of all those shows that out of all those shows I just mentioned. I feel like they all could be like interchanged out of all those shows, and Dawson's Creek could be included too, because like the main girl in that one looked similar to me too. I don't know what it might be. The hair. I don't know.
Is it?
I don't know. Something about them. All of them. They look very similar in their face. Something about their faces. I don't know. I just think like you could probably take one of the actresses from the one they played in and move it to another one and just like play musical chairs with them, and I wouldn't know the difference. And I think they all could work in any of those shows, because I feel like all those shows that felt very similar to me. They're not exactly the same, but they all felt very similar.
Is it like the SNL skit where they're I'm not that Chris, I'm the other Chris?
Yeah. I mean, not all of them were named Jessica. There was Jessica Biel.
Where it was
not Jennifer. Jessica. See what I mean? All of Jessica's and Jennifer's were like super popular names during that time.
Is it like where Chris Pine is singing about how he's not the other two Chris's or other three Chris's?
Yeah.
That SNL skit, yeah. Yeah, actually, that's pretty true. They find a type, and then they just keep typecasting.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you fit this type? Then you're
I feel like all those actresses, they fit that type, and they can all fit into any of those shows. That's what I feel like. They're all very similar. So
none of them really have a career right now. I mean,
it's true, but you know,
Capital One, I guess.
You know, I mean, yeah, I mean that's kind of true, but a lot of them have aged, and
yes,
and unfortunately, because of the way our society is kind of sexist, like I don't know how else to put that to you.
Women are given like a shelf life.
Yeah, if you're in Hollywood and you're older, like it's gonna be harder for you to get work. It's just the way it is. I'm not saying I'm for that. I'm saying that's just. You
go from being girlfriend interest to possibly mom, and then there's like years in between where you have no job.
Yeah, you have to get older. You have to be like Christina Brinkley's age to be considered like really awesome. I've noticed like older women are like I love older actresses and stuff, and I think they're good. But like that in between range, you know, where I'm coming up to that age. I'm about at that age now.
It's like, what's her name? She went from like not being in any shows to in a whole bunch now. Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman was gone.
Yeah.
For a while, or
I
like wasn't catching her, and now she's like the older wise woman.
Yep. They used her in the recent one that we watched on Hulu. That I can't remember
Perfect Strangers.
7 Perfect Strangers.
Is it 7?
Whatever. It's some perfect strangers.
Number.
It's a number of perfect strangers.
312 perfect strangers.
Anyways, that was a new. She was on there, and then she was on Top of the Lake, I think.
Top of the Lake, she did fantastic.
And that was a good show too. Top of the Lake. I can't think of something else right now, but yeah, I've noticed they've been trying to use her as like the older wise woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Like, they use, like, older women, they use younger women. And then if you're in between, they're like, we fucking hate you.
Yep.
Like, we don't, it's because they don't,
and then
really
there's another
wish,
gap to grandmas.
Yeah. I really wish they would write way more stories about women in, like, in that age bracket, because, like, it's not like you get to a certain, like, you get to 39 and then, like, you have nothing happens.
That's why Golden
like,
Girls was so fantastic and so ahead of its time.
Yeah, because they treated, like, older women as, like, actual, I don't know, interesting
They're
people
human?
that have, like, lives and stories. Like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's, Golden Girls was
like,
really good
there's
doing
life after 40, folks.
that. Really?
Are you sure?
No, I don't have life. I'm just gonna game all day. I don't fuck it. I don't even care.
Gaming is life. Gaming is life.
I'm the internet. I don't care. Whatever. We were talking about this today, so that's why I'm bringing it up. We were saying, well, I don't remember what happened. I said, you know what? I am the internet. Like,
It's because so many of the stuff that you do ends up being in a trend like 2 days after you do.
Yeah. Oh, that's what we were talking about. I was like, I was just doing this. Why is all the internet doing this now? Or Nord will have found something and be like, from the internet, like, and he'll be like, hey, did you know the blah 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 blah? And I'm like, I already knew that. And I'm
true.
like, oh, and he's like, yeah, you always do that. And I'm like, well, I am the internet. like it's not.
I cannot surprise you with information.
That's not.
Anyways,
that's
what's your
not totally
next topic?
true. Okay, we are going to talk about some PTR stuff happening with New World, which came out like several days ago, but I figured we'd talk about it because we didn't really talk about it last time, and I said maybe we could talk about it. So I'm excited about it because they're going to be doing PTR. I don't know. I'm not interested in doing PTR myself.
I'm not going to play the PTR. We haven't fully leveled.
I'm more interested in just getting the information. So that's the reason I'm like bringing it up. I have no like interest in checking out PTR. Yeah, we haven't fully leveled. To be honest, I'm just taking my time with leveling.
Yes.
I don't want to.
Rest XP has been very kind to us.
Well, from what I'm reading, there's a lot of people that have like just rushed and they went to end level, and now they're kind of bored.
Yeah, well, we know several of them. They burned out on the grind, and then they're like, eh.
But you know, I mean, I feel like that's always a thing that happens in a lot of MMOs.
Dude, yeah.
I feel like
Thorn
maybe
could talk about that one.
I feel like maybe if you make an MMO, maybe like I understand like people want to release it and get it out there, but with the way people are and how people just hit it hardcore, maybe they need to make sure they have more end game when they release it. Like maybe they need to be holding on to these games longer before releasing it just to make sure they have more end game content for higher level players.
Remember,
because you don't want all your higher level players to just like bounce. You know what I mean? Like that's not. I don't feel like that's good. So,
there was something that you and I had discussed, and so like Warhammer Online, Age of Reckoning is still my favorite MMO to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Although there's a strong possibility, I would say, that Lost Ark is going to replace that. But still, anyways, they had amazing scenarios, and you can level within those scenarios. And if they didn't have most of the open world in the game, that still would have been fine. If it was just a game about those PvP scenarios. So, like, what I think a lot of these should do is release a game with that, and then try to build the other stuff afterward.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, they're like New World just now has their scenario working, like just now. After like it lost already like 3/4 of its people. So
I feel like maybe they should have required people have to be PvP'd. That's because in Warhammer, or like maybe in
there
Warhammer
was no safe place.
Yeah, Warhammer there was no safe place, but I feel like there were certain zones that were kind of okay for you to be in, and you weren't going to get PvP'd.
Yeah.
And that's the way Warhammer worked. I feel like maybe they should have done something like that with New World. I don't know.
But like almost everything was contended.
Yeah.
And eventually, like some people just wouldn't attack each other because they're like, I'm just focused on shit. God damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so they're gonna be having like new weapons come out and whatever.
Void Gauntlet.
And so like Void Gauntlet is gonna be one of them. So I'm really excited about that.
I'm gonna be playing that.
There's all what?
I'm gonna be playing that.
Void Gauntlet.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because you're already focused and
I got a ton of
Yeah.
points in focus, and this is going to work well with it.
Have you been putting any into int?
I just hit 200 int a little while ago.
The reason I brought it up was because I was figuring you would just put heavy into focus since you
I had been.
But you changed it up is it because you wanted to start doing Ice Gauntlet? Is that why?
I wanted to have my Ice Gauntlet be useful for something.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
Because it was funny because you'd be hitting like 5 times harder than I was with it.
So do you think that once they bring out Void Gauntlet, you're just gonna go heavy into focus, or are you gonna keep it the same?
I'm probably gonna go insanely heavy into focus with a decent amount into it.
And then just do the Void Gauntlet and the Life Staff?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, and then get a good amount of Constitution. But
yeah, that makes sense. I think the Void Gauntlet looks cool, but I don't know if I really want to make that change from my main attribute being like intelligence.
No.
And then switching over to I don't think I want to do that. Because I've been doing like intelligence and constitution.
Yeah, it's very discouraging for you to get into other primary stats.
Yeah, it kind of. Anyway, so
until you get top end gear.
And there's also going to be some changes. They're talking to other weapons as well. So I was kind of thinking maybe looking at the ones that we're currently...
You have that up somewhere that I can see it?
Here, let me send it to you. Maybe I should just start doing this and sending you all the links so you can come in the future.
I wants to learns too.
He wants to learns too.
Thorn. SWTOR has story flashpoints that are like scenarios. They have various bosses and trash in between the story parts. Yeah, see, honestly, having stuff like that, like I really love. Like, I know a key staple of MMOs is having a persistent world that you can travel in and stuff, but I feel like if you don't have that filled out, it doesn't matter. Like, you got to have the other stuff. Anyway. All right, I'm opening that. Continue, Hazzie.
Okay, so I thought about maybe we'll just like take a look at the weapons we're interested in. So I'm going to take a look at a musket because I told you that late game I'll probably see about maybe going musket. Musket's really fun. You like
Sticky Bomb, and look what they did to that.
Yep, Sticky Bomb base damage increases 175 to 235.
Mm.
So that's pretty nice.
And then they reduce some cooldowns.
That sounds really fun. Power shot cooldown reduced to 12 seconds. Shooter's stance cooldown reduced to 18 seconds, and stopping power cooldown seconds. Actually, really. And then there's a whole bunch of changes to Fire Staff, which that's what I'm currently playing. Fire Staff and Ice Gauntlet. And then we'll look at Life Staff really quick. So Fire Staff is Fireball can no longer crit. But I don't know if I like that. I don't know. I don't know about that. I guess they just don't want us getting... I was getting like 1,000 something crit. I don't feel like it was that bad. Like, what is your stuff when you're hitting with your Life Staff usually hit for a normal hit?
A normal hit, 700 to 800.
Okay, well, I'm hitting for 1,000.
But like, you are also doing a lot of damage over time, and it's an area damage effect.
Yeah, that's true. I like how you can do the questing such on these different difficult settings. Yeah, that makes sense. Over 50% mana passive nerfed 10% empower to 5%. Wait, what? Over 50% mana passive.
So you had a passive that if you're over 50% mana, you'd get a 10% empower. Now that's a 5% empower.
Because I've been having mana.
Basically, they're nerfing Fire Staff a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
When you get down to Life Staff, I got nerfed into the ground.
Okay, bonus ability crit chance passive 15% crit. No damage taken in for seconds. Bonus damage passive nerf 10% to 5%. Oh my god. I feel like these are huge nerfs.
These are all pretty big nerfs.
Holding Fire Staff crit damage passive nerf 20 to 15%. Rune of Helios bonus damage nerf 30% to 25%. Well, this is what happens. People were complaining about the mages, I think.
Yes. So people really complain about Fire Staff.
But the fact that we can a lot of the mages can die quickly. if they're not, because a lot of times they wear cloth. Like I feel like they should have more damage, and I think you should be able to do more damage if you are more squishy. Because like right now I'm wearing heavy armor. I think my damage should be lesser than a maid or somebody doing fire staff that is wearing like the like cloth armor or whatever, light armor.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't really like that it's just a straight up this is the nerf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't like that.
No,
like I feel like it should be.
They really hit a lot of stuff, so which is funny to me because there are no nerfs to musket. Not a single one.
Musket's pretty badass. I think I'm definitely, after seeing this, I'm definitely going musket, especially late game.
And then bow, a lot of people have been going bow for PvP. And looking at bow, poison shot cooldown reduced, poison shot direct hit upgrade has nerfed, so that's a nerf. Poison shot can no longer headshot. Okay, that's actually a pretty big nerf. Rain of arrows radius reduced. Okay, that's a nerf. Rapid shot cooldown reduced. So that's kind of a buff.
Flamethrower base damage increased from 34 to 50%.
They're trying to get people to play flamethrower.
What's flamethrower?
It's the one where like you stick out your staff and it fire right from it. It's if they're right up on you.
I hate that because you have to
be up on top of somebody.
Yeah, that is not like, and if you're squishy, that makes no sense. Maybe hey, maybe I could do, if I'm in heavy armor, maybe I could try doing it. I don't know.
And then see, they buffed Pillar of Fire too. So they buffed the ones that nobody's using. They buffed Flamethrower and they buffed Pillar of Fire.
Maybe I'm gonna have to change it around.
Possibly. I mean, it might not be total crap.
Maybe. I don't know. Some of these feel like really large percentage nerfs, though.
Some of them are.
Singe, watch it burn, swap places, makes it hard to. Okay. Ice Gauntlet. Ice shower cooldown increased 20 to 30 seconds.
So that's a nerf.
Wait, it's a nerf? Ice shower cooldown.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the cooldown's increased. Okay.
So it's a pretty big nerf too.
Yeah, it's a really big nerf. That's 10 seconds. This is what I'm saying. Why are they? I guess they don't want us using magic. Like I don't know. I don't understand.
I don't
understand.
This is probably made by melee people who are upset about how casters are killing them.
Okay.
Because this is everything that we've heard Jade complain about. She was Hatchet.
It's all your fault, Jade.
She's Hatchet and Rapier, although I think she changed to Bow recently.
Amazon heard the Jade Princess and was like, "Oh, we got to change it."
Anyway, she was really complaining about Ice Shower, which going to a 30-second cooldown kind of sucks. I mean, 20 to 30 seconds, that's a big...
This is definitely making me want to go musket. I think I'm just going to go musket and bow like I was talking about, and I'll be like, fuck it until I feel like it's worth being magic. I don't think it's worth it, you know? Like,
Wind chill base damage got buffed, though. Bonus crit damage at full stamina was reduced, so that's a nerf. Ice Storm damage ticks 3 times a second instead of 4 times a second. So, that's a nerf.
Yeah.
Ultimate Chill nerfed from 35% damage to 20. Oh, that's a big one.
That's 10. That's a 10% freaking nerf.
That's a big.
Why is it? Why are they like? I would get it if it was like a 5% or a 3%. You know, something smaller. A 10%.
And now the Heavy Freeze roots have a 5-second cooldown, so you can't repeatedly root.
Like, I'm trying to think about that right now. How is it working when you're seeing this stuff and I'm using it? It doesn't really seem like it lasts that long, but I'm concerned I'm gonna get in. I'm like, well, that was nothing.
I don't know,
It's not even gonna be worth. Maybe they're doing this because they don't want you playing 2 magic weapons.
Yeah, but
that's what it feels like, because both magic weapons that I'm using is getting hugely nerfed. So
you think that's bad? Wait until you read the
both of my weapons are getting super nerfed.
If I was playing this game, I would stop after reading these notes. God damn it! I quit. I haven't played yet. I haven't played yet, but I quit.
So here's the positive thing about New World, in case you are interested in ever playing New World, Thorn. The nice thing about New World is there is some flexibility because you can always switch.
You can play every weapon.
Yeah, you can play any weapon and every weapon that you want. There's so much flexibility in what you can choose. That's kind of fun. The problem is I have been leveling off of, for me, I've been leveling off of Ice Gauntlet and Fire Staff, so I'm very, like, attached to those two weapons now. And now that they're getting nerfed, it feels bad, man. That's all I can say. It feels bad, man. Right? Okay, you want to go over Life Staff? Since
Life
you're
Staff.
The healer here.
Look at that. So scroll up. It's the longest of any of them.
It's the long. People complained about the healer, so I'm not, like, super shocked.
It's not only the longest, but it's the most nerfs. So Blissful Touch, that's a left mouse button heal, has been reduced from 20% to 16%, so a 20% nerf. Orb of Protection Hot has been nerfed from, instead of being 7.5% of weapon damage, it's 6% of weapon damage. So that's a lot of how I heal you.
Yeah.
Beacon.
That's okay. I don't need heals. Not like my stuff's getting nerfed. Oh, wait. Sorry. It's like
my Beacon Hot, that's the one that I put on the ground. It's been nerfed from 20% to 16%. Light's Embrace base heal nerfed from 100% down to 80%, so that's another 20% nerf. Divine Embrace base heal nerfed from 150 down to 120. Pretty big one. I
don't like that at all.
Flash of Light base healing buffed from 50 to 60, so that's a buff on Splash of Light, which is kind of shit. Sacred Ground Hot.
Some chat for healing, yeah, exactly.
Sacred Ground Hot nerfed 20% to 16%. That's a chunky one too. Sacred Ground Duration. Oh my god. Okay, that's the big one. Sacred Ground Duration. It no longer lasts 15 seconds, only lasts 12. And it costs a lot of mana too.
What is Sacred Ground again?
It's the circle that I put down that people can stand in and get healed.
That's like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
It's because they nerfed it because in PvP, people were complaining about the healers stacking their circles.
But they already got rid of being able to stack them. Now they're just making them last shorter too.
I don't know. That's
Yeah. Sacred Ground Stamina and Mana Regen buff.
Do you think?
Oh, dude, this sucks. Remember how I'd have you stand in it so you can get your Mana Regen?
Yeah.
It's been nerfed from 100% down to 50%.
I'm not going magic.
It's been nerfed to 50%.
Fun detected.
Oh my god, that is a huge one.
Fun deleted.
So you're definitely not going to gain stamina and mana regen standing in it anymore. Enchanted Justice passive nerfed. Used to be a 5% hot, now it's 8%. Light's Embrace Connection increased from 1% mana per buff to 2% mana per buff. Okay, so that might actually be worth switching to now. Splash of Light Shared Recovery, 5% mana restored for people under 50%. So if I heal people that are under 50%, I'll get more. But it's just like, if they're under 50%, they're kind of hurting. Anyway.
Yeah, do you know how I start running before 50% when I'm like, you've seen it.
If you're at 70%, I'm like, come back here. And you're like, no, it's scary.
It's true. I'm 6 levels lower than you.
Yes.
So, like, and also my gear, like, me and Nord figured something out. We were both like, our attributes were going down, and we were like, did they just nerf us out of the blue? And then we figured out.
Every time you level, your stats get nerfed.
Yeah, your stats you have to get new gear in order to make up for that stuff. And we just figured that out. And I was like, oh.
So if you had really good gear a couple levels ago.
Because I'm like level 46 or 45 right now. And like most of my gear is from the early 30s. So I looked at my constitution. I'm like, why is my constitution so crap? I put all my points in here, but it's because I didn't know that's how that worked until like you were pointing out how you lost it.
Anyway,
thank you, patch notes.
All right. What's the next topic before we want to slit wrists?
Okay. they have Void Gauntlet.
I'll look at that later.
Okay. We'll talk about Void Gauntlet stuff, I think,
don't even
next
know the
time
stuff
around.
about it.
Yeah. And also they're going to have bringing in new enemies into the world
Yes,
and stuff.
that
So I'm
part looks-
excited about that because it's going to be new content, which I feel like it needs. And also they're updating the quests. So it's not going to be just all fetch quests. They're going to make them a little bit like they're supposed to be like invasions and different types of other quests going on.
Rather than go here, get this.
Yeah, instead of like, because they even said that we're going to make the quest a little bit more interesting than that. So I'm really happy about that because it means they were listening to the community, because a lot of people complained about the quest because the questing is very boring. And so I'm glad that they're working. And so the next thing I wanted to talk about before we jump into, I wanted to geek out a little bit, is the last time we were playing, I don't know if it was, maybe it was the last time, we were playing Icewind Dale, Heart of Winter. We actually ran into some undead called Revenant, and I had never heard of them before. And I actually went and I got the Forgotten Realms wiki, and they're actually kind of interesting. They're a neutral undead. I'm gonna play like this. I'm gonna play this clip so y'all can, like, in case you don't remember
our experience
with it. But they the enemy type is very like Ganon had told us it's like another enemy from the base game, and it's very much like a troll because they fall down like a troll does, but they won't die. You can keep hitting them and they won't die, so you have to finish them off with like fire or maybe poison and acid. We talked about this before.
Depending on the version of D&D, fire always works, but acid sometimes works and poison sometimes works.
But in the game, whenever we had a troll, we had to kill. They would fall down, and in order to finish them off, you had to kill them like with fire or whatever. And that's I don't know why we didn't think about that when the Revenant fell down, and we just kept. We had your one, I think it was the Paladin, who just kept hitting it because your Paladin heals when it hits the Revenant, right? So that's what we kind of kept doing there until we were like, oh, you kill it like a troll. So yeah. Are you okay? Did you want to say something? Because you're looking off to the side like this.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, go to the
bathroom. So you cover this, I gotta go to the bathroom.
I was like looking to the side, I'm like, do you need something?
I do. Fire damage from Hazzie. Yep, that finished it.
But yeah, so we're killing off the Revenant here, and then you see that burst of fire is because my Barbarian had finished off another Revenant. Now we're on the second Revenant, and her fire sword keeps going off.
Being alive.
But yeah, so that I thought it was cool because I didn't know anything about Revenant before. But Zorn even was telling us that the Revenant are like one of the, maybe he said there was the only undead in D&D that's neutral, but I thought that was really interesting. Also, they do not, it was interesting to find out that they do not die, it's not going to show me the picture? Okay, it's just taking, they do not die, like, until they have either killed whoever murdered them. So like in this picture, you can see the Revenant here has like a noose around, or a hanging rope thing around its neck. But they're very revenge focused, and they want to kill whoever murdered them. And I think if I remember correctly from the wiki, it was saying like even if the person who murdered them is in another realm, the Revenant like can go, like, senses wherever the person in the other realm goes and like kind of follows them. Anyways, they won't die until they kill the person that they've murdered, or it said in the wiki like maybe 6 months or a year or so. Then they just kind of, if they don't kill the person that murdered them and get their revenge, then they just kind of die. But they sound really cool. Yeah, it was really interesting to find out about the Revenant, and also it was really interesting to find out that this is actually a word in the dictionary that we found out earlier today when me and Nord were talking about Revenant. Nord was like, do you think that maybe that movie, The Revenant, came from D&D stuff? Like maybe they got that idea because in the Revenant, like we were talking about, Leonardo DiCaprio's character like nearly dies, or it seems like he's dead, and then it's like he comes back and he comes back for revenge. And we're like, you think that was taken from D&D? But no, like Revenant's an actual word which means to return or to come back from the dead. And I didn't know that, so that was interesting. I just assumed Revenant was just a name they gave the undead creatures in D&D. I had no idea. So yeah, I found that really interesting. And they tend to be stronger in the these undead. They tend to be stronger than what they were in their living life, but they still have like the same abilities that they had in their living life, just that those same abilities are stronger, and that's all. And they tend to have, like it says here, fast healing, and they have something called Find the Guilty. This is where I read about in the plane of existence where they can follow their enemy. So each revenant rose with an unerring sense of direction to where their murderer was located. However, this capability was restricted to locating creatures on the same plane of existence as a revenant. So I thought that was interesting. They have paralyzing glare, and also they have vengeful strike. Anyways, yeah, I thought this was all like interesting. They have like the psychology here. It says revenants had an unrelenting desire for revenge against their killers, almost to the point of ignoring anyone else who was not involved in their murder. The desire for vengeance sometimes spread to accomplices involved in the murder, but they tended to be less important than their primary target. So that's I thought that was interesting. Revenants sound like really badass to me. Like I don't know, I found them pretty interesting.
Like I was just like, hey, it's another zombie.
Yeah, I did too. I was just like, so we're gonna
but no, they're very involved.
So I'm kind of thinking
cool.
like before each in Geeky Talk, before we do, when we're playing a Forgotten Realms game, if we find something interesting, I think what we might do is we'll go look it up, and then we'll kind of like geek out a little bit about it. That something that we found interesting from the game was, where are we in the story of the game at this point? Because I just remember we have to go beat the Harpy. We have to go defeat the Harpy Queen, but
yes,
I don't.
In the Trials of the Lore Master.
Okay, because I'm like, I don't remember that. Oh, and by the way, I did read these comic books. These are really good. This is the prelude to Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, the second one's coming out on November 24th.
So right around the corner.
Minsk and Boo are in here, and it's just really great. So they come back off the ship, and they land in Baldur's Gate again. And Minsk is just like, it's so great to be back, but I can't like remember anything because he had been taken to I don't remember what the realm, like the hells are called.
Another plane.
Yeah, and so like he can't remember anything. But when they get off of the boat, they're all like, well, we need to go on our ways and go before the team gathers up for adventure. They're like, we need to go on our ways and go get things taken care of in the town. And Minsk goes with actually, I can't remember her name, but this one on the front of the cover, that character, to this library. She's like a mage. She's like a mage character. But they go to the library there in Baldur's. No, I can't remember the name.
Not one of the ones from the group.
Yeah, not one of the ones from the group.
Okay.
I can't remember her name right now. I'll have to read it again. What was it? Because I'm gonna read it several times so that I can get it into my like memorize it all. But
You're
yeah,
gonna
so
push
they go
out
to
old useless memories of family and replace them with more Minsk and Boo adventures.
With fictional characters. Like, fictional characters are my best friend. Anyways,
cousins, I don't need that.
Anyways, yeah, so they go to the library there in the town, and
that's a very you move.
It's really but it's really funny because Minsk is like, why are we going to the library? We can't have like violent adventures there. It was really fun. Like, Minsk is so Minsk in this comic book. I'm so happy to have Minsk and Boo back in my life again.
Real fan service.
Yeah, because Minsk and Boo unfortunately are not in Baldur's Gate 3, but I really like having it here in this comic book for the prelude Baldur's Gate 3. So yeah, like if you are into that old school stuff, check that comic book out, because I think it's good. they're gonna have the second one coming up on November 24th, as I said earlier, and I'm actually really excited with it because it's not like the end of the story. They like doing the series or whatever.
It's a prelude to what's coming.
Yeah. Well, what I'm trying to say, like, it's a small book, so you only get like a bite-sized amount of information, and so you have to. It's like I have to wait. It's like waiting for another episode. That's what I feel like. I'm waiting for another episode, and it's been a while since I've had that feeling, and I've been like into a comic book.
Yeah.
This much, like, because I usually buy graphic novels. Like I bought the Divinity Original Sin 2 graphic novel, which was really good.
Yes.
But I'm not waiting for this to be put into one graphic novel or like one big book. I'm taking this like one piece at a time because I'm just really happy about it. Anyway,
well, I'm glad you're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So,
are we ready to jump into the game?
We are ready to jump into the heart of winter.
The heart of winter. Okay, you like cold stuff, but I don't. So
that's
I'm gonna give me a second,
accurate.
y'all. I will get into.
I have my